I'm going to address some things that I think are rather controversial. And one of the biggest controversies I tend to hear is I hate women. Kevin Samuels hates women. He's a misogynist. He's a misogynist, and he hates black women in particular. Who hurt you? This is where the whole sign language came from. Shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. Keep the lights up, folks. So we're going to get into it. Black women, let's talk about it. Do I hate you?
Back in 2013, I interviewed you when I worked with Madame Noir.
Okay.
And we had, a viral moment. We talked about Black women and boundaries. And you said we were out of order.
We're still out of order.
Out of order.
Why? To all my critics and detractors to say, I hate this, what do you have for these women? You got this petition, you got this for that. Okay, if we went ahead and Thanos snapped it all away, then what? What you got? What do you got for women? These women you care so much about.
Our root chakra is out of control. We have to get our root chakras under control if we really want to serve the black sisterhood. I'm going to say it again. We got to get our root chakras under control so that we can be of better use to our women.
But many women are very, very unrealistic about their standards for men, dating, and marriage. So I'm going to give my opinion on this. And now listen, girls, I'm about to be very raw. I'm about to be very real. I'm about to just shoot it to you as just straight as I can because I'm hoping that this helps somebody. Because as you girls know, I'm a matchmaker. And for a large part of the end of last year and beginning of this year, I stopped matchmaking. And the reason I stopped matchmaking is because
life as I know it is coming to an end.
I can't handle female clients. I was a matchmaker that matched females, and I had a few male clients, but predominantly I was matching women. And listen, it was such a valuable lesson for me because what I learned is that the average woman doesn't really want just a good man. She doesn't want a husband. What she's really wanting are these standards or ideas that she has of what a man is supposed to be. But this is nothing what men are. This is not realistic for who men are, how they think, what they value. It's just this preconceived, idea that women have of who men should be.
So let's start out number one. I am a consultant, coach, consultant.
Is coming to an end.
I am not a therapist.
I'm a PhD.
I'm not a therapist. I'm not a clinician. I have extensive study in the human mind, sociology, psychology, anthropology, but that's for my own edification and some training behind the scenes. But I often recommend people to clinicians. So number one, if you ever hear someone saying that he should have did this instead of that, tell them he is a consultant.
It's sensationalism. Kevin he's got a platform. He can give, people are tuning in to a show where it's like entertainment. It's where people are tuning in order to be able to have conversations and be entertained. Is it coaching? It's not.
Shut your freaking mouth. You can't go to school to learn what it is that I do. There's no degree program on the planet that can make you competent at this level. This is earned.
Avoid the irreverent babble and contradictions of what is falsely called knowledge.
We got to get our root chakras under control.
Out of order.
I'm not a man of God. I believe in God, but I'm not a man of the cloth. And more importantly, if someone wants my considered advice in a personal way or a private way, they are free to book a session. How can you say somebody hates women who sits up here and talks to women day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out? nonstop. You're
What?
24 years old. Is your circumstance harder or easier than your grandmother and your great-grandmother?
Exponentially easier. Now that we're all free and independent and we could do whatever we want to, why would we seek to, be one with the black man? We even think that being...
Thank you. Clip it, slice it, put it on World Star. She said it, not me.
You know you can do bad all by yourself, right?
Now that you're independent, you
We
don't need
don't
to be
have
with. There you go.
We don't
There
have
you go.
trust in the
And
black
there
man.
and there
We
you go.
don't.
And there you go. There you go, black man. There it is. She's finally got one to say it. This 24-year-old woman just said it. They don't feel any guilt about it. Thank you. So don't ask black men to care about your traumas when you can't even smile at them.
And the whole bottom line is, if you want to marry a millionaire, then you got to be this kind of way to marry a millionaire.
And you don't want to build with anybody. You don't want to build a life together. Listen, honey, you better find yourself a Build-A-Bear. You need to find yourself a Build-A-Boo. Okay? Somebody that meets some requirements of who you want in character, your values, integrity.
We got to get our root chakras under control.
You're foolish.
Out of order.
That's why I always sit back and say therapy. You cannot tell me that after watching over a year and a half worth of content, that there is not something askew or miss with the typical modern woman today in the way she looks and deals in relationships.
You don't need a man to do bad by yourself. You got to have some value about you.
Ladies, men want women who are fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, childless.
Why are so many women offended by your content?
Well, one, because they don't listen to it. They come and see a black man in a suit with that background and everything else, and they're used to hearing mother, goddess, queen, the black woman is God, and they're not used to hearing such a direct message. We have told women across the world, it doesn't matter what size you are, nobody can judge you, your body, your choice, your womb, your that. And this has been going on for a long time. Shahrazad Ali wrote a book in 89, 90, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
And we have made finance the major focus of our relationships with them. We have made the one thing that most of them don't even have be the criteria.
You know you can do bad all by yourself, right?
We have been taught that if they do not give us money, that we are not to even allow them to be a father to their child. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, then he is not qualified to tell us what to do. We have been taught that if he does not give us money, that he doesn't have any rights in the home. It's whoever is making the money who has the rights. That's not our system.
You don't need a man to do bad by yourself.
Rebecca Lynn Pope, Miss Tiffany Bolden. If you go to Rebecca Lynn Pope's video right on YouTube that has almost 1 million views, a popular matchmaker here in Atlanta talks about why she stopped being a matchmaker for black women because black women's expectations in their mates were ridiculous, unrealistic.
You know, you're powerful, successful man making money. He wants a woman for peace and love and great sex and stroke his ego. And he's proud to have her on his arm when he goes out. It's kind of like that whole package, for men thing. But that's about it.
What a lot of women object to is they're not used to being told the truth. Just the simple truth. It doesn't matter how nicely I try to word it. I think if you watch my broadcast, I struggle sometimes using all my corporate skills.
I be watching you. Like I'm trying to be tact with you.
I'm a well-schooled communicator.
But this is not reality, okay? So literally, the standards here that I see consistently in women that stay single, do not get married, and the difference between women and wives is understanding, one, that men are not women. He's not going to be your best friend like your best girlfriend. You can't talk to him like that. They don't talk like that. They don't talk that much. They're not so sensitive and girly the way we are as women. So if you're expecting a man to be all super sensitive and so considerate and just so everything like your girlfriends, you're barking up the wrong tree. He's going to hurt your feelings all the time, or else you're going to feel like he doesn't communicate because you're holding these standards like he's a girl.
Taffy was showing me about, some guy on television just insulting women, and he's becoming popular because women are so desperate for the truth.
Because at no point was there advice on how to turn your life around.
You're foolish.
Out of order.
That's why I always sit back and say therapy, 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 therapy.
How to be able to be in a happy and healthy relationship.
We got to get our root chakras under control.
So money is this equalizer. These men get access to women that they would never have access to because of money.
That's so true.
Black women outnumber black men by 2 million. Is that true or false? Black women don't want to deal with the black man who's gay or down low. Is that true or false?
That's true.
So statistically, 37% of black men are in jail, while 1/3 of black men have some sort of criminal record. That automatically makes the pool less of the 2 million, and there are 2 million more, and he's narrowing down the pool. Black women typically don't want to date down and prefer a black man who is on the same playing field with her or higher. Is that true or false? Judge, permission to treat the witness as hostile. And I would say you're being unresponsive. See, I'm good at what I do. And the fact of the matter is your positions are full of crap. And I'm picking them apart, and you don't like it.
Community requires communication.
No. Communication, and that means what? That we do what you want to do? Because you came onto my show, and you don't even want to try to operate according to what I'm doing. And I'm using this as an object lesson.
My issue again is that he did not have to juxtapose his successes against Black women. It's just entirely unnecessary.
So do you hold this same position for Black women when they're speaking about themselves?
Certainly.
So Black women who talk about themselves, they should never bring up Black men and juxtapose their accomplishments against Black men.
I don't think it's healthy.
No, that's not what I asked. What did your husband say about this? Did y'all discuss it?
No, I'm not married. I would not choose. I would not choose to date into something like that. I got choose to be single.
Okay.
I'm a PhD.
Okay, congratulations. But that was unnecessary, right?
Nope. Because
no. You just know, ma'am. You just. I just asked you about marriage. I just asked you about marriage, and you juxtaposed it against your education.
Yes.
That was
I'm
unnecessary.
trying to give you context.
That's unnecessary.
I'm giving you context about the prize.
That's unnecessary, according to your way of thinking.
You got to be careful who you listen to. Just insulting women.
You're foolish.
We get paid to be out of order now.
Out of order.
And undue attacks on your integrity as a Black woman. But I'm seeing Black women, out of their thirst for male validation, entertain some of these Negroes who have no history of organizing in the Black community.
Just insulting women.
They have no history of fighting for our children.
You got to be careful who you listen to.
They have no activism resume at all. Why would you subject yourself to that level of insult? Why would you subject yourself to that level of degradation and undue criticism from a complete stranger?
Life as I know it is coming to an end. How do you sit up there and listen to somebody insult you?
You're foolish. The modern Black church played a large role in the Black community. It was a central focal point in the United States for communities of all kinds. It was the place to where we all went and gathered fellowship. It was the center of town. And most things, if you wanted to start a town, you needed a pastor or a preacher. Now, fast forward to a city where we leave towns and communities, move into big cities, blah, blah, blah. What have we seen the rise of in the last 30 years? The last 30 years, we've seen the rise of the megachurch. And an organization that large becomes missing. Yeah, you may be able to go get a good word on Sunday, but being attached to a body, much more difficult when you have 10,000 people in the sermon.
Insult you.
You're foolish. But church is different today than it was. When I was coming up, there was no way you could have a woman sitting on the front row, proudly playing her tambourine and getting happy. 3 kids out of wedlock, 4 different dudes.
Is it that bad? Well, I got to try something because I got to get a man.
The church, for all intents and purposes, has lost its way amongst men. So tonight we're going to talk about it. Because with the decline in men, what are you also seeing a rise in? Well, if you lose men, you lose a lot of your, you lose a large portion of tithes and offerings. So you got to get an ever increasing share from who's remaining, and that's women. And there is no surprise for the increasing share of tithes and offerings for operational expenses must come from a decreasing male population and increasing female population. What do you think you're going to start hearing?
You know you can do bad all by yourself, right? You don't need a man to do bad by yourself.
Much more of this God, you can do bad all by yourself, prosperity, preaching Christian light stuff.
You got to have some value about you.
Because they're like, now wait a minute. So you can come to church dressed like you were dressed last night, wearing the long, different color fingernails, the long, different color hair, tight dress, this, such and so forth, tatted up, blah, blah, blah. Well, men understand why that happened, because you got to keep the women happy.